Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new draft preview. This time we will take a look at TSM versus TL, a very highly anticipated matchup. Obviously, with all the double lift drama going on, very interesting. Focusing now on the draft. TSM first banned away set. I will first of all show you all the bans and then talk about these bans. Yumi also banned and Ornn is also banned away. And then TL's first ban was the Varus, and then the Graves, and the Zillion. The first two bans from Team Liquid, obviously no huge surprise. Basically must ban on red side. Set ban on Ornn kind of surprising. Already noticing that in an A, they really don't like the set. They don't like playing against it, I guess. Yumi ban is fine. Yumi obviously a lot of people, a lot of teams opting into Ezreal Yumi, for example. Here on R1 or 2 you can also pick other things with Yumi, Lucian Yumi, MF Yumi, Aphelios Yumi. All of those things are viable options. This is why probably they banned away the Yumi Ornn ban. Don't really agree on that. You can pick it yourself, B2, B3. The only really option for TL, or the only smart option in my eyes, would be picking up on here in B3. So you have still options to pick it up yourself here, unless you say we think TL will pick it, and we don't want to pick it in the first 3 picks. The last ban from TL is a huge surprise for me. Banning away the Zillion obviously is a Bergson favorite, and also pretty sure that Jensen also plays Zillion as well. This obviously is a mid lane, not support, so may see in solo queue. But this is very surprising because this leaves Syndra open. Obviously, maybe you don't want Bergson to pick Zillion, but you leave Syndra open, which is a flex pick, even though the TSM only flexed it for a short amount of time. Still, also not only a flex pick, but also pretty strong. Gives you a lot of pressure, either bot side or mid lane. TL picks up Aphelios, which is basically expected. The strongest ADC left available. You could maybe you could of course consider Kalista. Could consider Ezreal, but I wouldn't pick Ezreal if Kalista's still open, because Kalista hard counters Ezreal in my eyes, especially in the laning phase. Ezreal has a very tough laning phase against Kalista, so Aphelios is totally fine here. And then picking Trundle, which I will talk about in a bit. First of all, we focus on the next picks, which is Kalista. As I already said, probably one of the 2 options still available for AD carry, with also the Ezreal still available. And then picking up the Taric, which obviously synergizes very good with Kalista. Don't really see Taric too often in the last, this summer split, and also at the end of spring split, didn't really see too often. Taric still got picked up. Taric still should be a strong pick. Maybe if you would have picked Ezreal here, they wouldn't have picked Taric, because it's kind of difficult if you have, for example, Ezreal Karma here. Taric basically is useless. Something like Nautilus or Thresh would have made more sense, but since they picked Aphelios here, I think it's fine to pick up Thresh here, to pick up Taric here. And then last pick from TL was the Bard, which obviously you don't want to pick melee into Taric, so picking up a range champion. The problem now is Bard wants to roam a lot. But Aphelios isn't really the kind of champion that you can leave alone very easy, unless he's his I don't know how the gun is called, the green gun with the range. Aphelios can be dived quite easy, especially after level 6 with the Taric and Kalista ultimate. So I feel like Bard wasn't really the go-to pick. I would much rather see the Thresh pick here. You have pressure also on Syndra then, who has who lacks mobility. Thresh can easily hook her, flash E for example, flash hook, things like that. And Bard, not the greatest, because Aphelios doesn't really have a great way of self-peel. Team Liquid banning away the Jarvan, and also the Lee Sin, which was surprising. I don't think that. I mean, a lot of teams, as I said in the, I'm not sure in which video I said. I think in the EG 100 Thieves video, that a lot of teams tend to pick Lee Sin into Trundle because they think that they don't have the problem with the Trundle R then, which is, I mean, Trundle in general is a very bad pick. He can take some of the sets from Tarek, but isn't particularly great. The sets from Tarek aren't particularly great. And Lee Sin, yeah, I don't know, it's not bannable in my eyes. Jarvan is of course an option. You already have 3 very strong mid-game teamfight champions, so banning away the Jarvan for sure makes sense. Team Liquid banning away the LeBlanc and the and also the Echo. Both champions do very well into Syndra, so basically just 2 counter picks into mid lane. Team TL then picking up the Azir, which is fine. It's an okay matchup into Syndra, and you're obviously at the scaling aspect as well. Azir obviously is also good at mid-game fights, but obviously you have very strong late game. Azir, Aphelios versus Syndra, Kalista is for sure favoring TL. TSM picking up Aatrox and also Kayn. Kayn is no surprise. I'm glad to see him in pro play, finally. I think he's very strong, but only in certain ways. And you only have the option to go for the Darkin. Not the Darkin. Is it a Darkin? Yeah, the Darkin form. The tankier form, because the assassin form, the shadow form, is just bad, straight up bad in pro play, because you won't be able to one-shot really, unless they are out of position. So I would say you go for the red form, and at the moment red form doesn't look too great because you only have 1 melee and probably top lane, which means that TL knows you're probably gonna end up camping top lane. Aatrox is a fine blind pick. It's a good bruiser. You now have 2 bruisers. With Tarek, you have a solid front line. You have your engage options are kind of limited, but are still in a way where you have the enough opportunities or enough options to find to get CC to lock people down. Not incredibly great, but it isn't too bad. On the side of TL, you pick up Mordekaiser, which does great into Aatrox, which is good into Kalista, or at least fine into Kalista, which forces Kayn, Kalista, Syndra all to buy QSS. Maybe not all of them, but you at least should consider buying it. And obviously, you know, have a winning matchup. You have the melee, which would, as I said, mean that Kayn probably wants to go top lane. But you also have, on the TL side, have the problem you don't have some kind of reliable engage. It's even worse than on the TSM side, because the only engage option is Azir ultimate, is Aphelios ultimate, Bard ultimate, so really limited ways of finding engages, while TSM still has the opportunity for a Scatter the Weak from Syndra, from a Kalista ultimate, from Tarek maybe. Kayn can W, Aatrox can Q or final flank, which is more, but also not really great. So both teams kind of lack engage. Not both teams don't really have a true tank. Maybe you could consider Trundle a true tank, but he really becomes a true tank when stealing away the stats from through his ultimate from someone else, which there isn't really a really great option. So I think both teams have an okay draft, not really great, but not too bad. For sure seen worse, especially in NA, I've seen worse, and I think it's kind of stable. I would say late game rather goes to TL, but TSM has a lot of options, and both have kind of a strong mid game. But I would mid game rather think TSM has the advantage. But overall, as I said, quite not stable. That doesn't matter. Anyways, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time.